What's good, everybody? This is Preston, lifelong adventurer and travel YouTuber.
And I'm Ryan, the travel photographer, here to capture moments worth saving.
And this is Adventures with Pictures podcast, bringing all those travel tips,
horror stories,
and just all-around travel experiences. This is your podcast to soften those travel blues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Now let's get started and hear from our guest today.
Hey, what's going on, peoples? This is Mr. Travels here with Adventures with Pictures. My co-host Ryan is actually on travel, so that's a good thing. But today we have a lovely guest, Nicole from South Africa.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing, Nicole? So we was talking a little bit before, this episode, but I know you had a very crazy morning. I don't know if you want to share with the people, but yeah, like I know you went hiking. That's something that I want to get into.
Well, one of my hobbies, which I picked up during this whole COVID pandemic time, is I've had to come back to South Africa. I was living in Dubai for 13 years. And at the beginning of COVID, I chose to return home. So I used to do a lot of my travel from Dubai, which was easy. So I could actually travel quite easy. But I left Dubai, it was around March or April last year when I could see that COVID was increasing, and came home to a level 5 lockdown, meaning it's the strictest modes. I think we were only allowed out from 6 to 9. It was really strict and really heavy. And I think it was probably about 6 months that we went through that. And I come from Dubai where it was summer and was really hot, to a freezing cold in degrees Celsius, single digits, okay? So in around, I think it was July, August last year, from literally just walking around in our garden, and the government decided to lift those restrictions to a level 3. We were allowed out a little bit more and we could go hiking. So I read up about this. I was really frustrated being a traveler.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first year in 13 years that I hadn't traveled internationally.
Yeah.
So I've taken on this hobby of hiking, and I love it. And it's amazing way of getting exercise, getting fresh air, clearing your head, and enjoying the beauty of nature. And I would advise it, Preston, please do it. You can explore your own back door, and through that, I've joined groups, and we go on a weekly basis. We hike, and I'm just going to use kilometers and so on because that's what I know. So I hike a minimum of 5 kilometers, 5 to 10 kilometers. But what happened to me today is that I went out to a cheese farm. So it's about an hour and a half out of Johannesburg. So it's a bit country, and I was supposed to meet the group, but we had a roadblock. So we got caught up in that, and it held us up, and the group left us. So we were 3 girls, and we said we're going to go ahead. But unfortunately, we got lost. And we were planning on doing a 5 to 10 kilometers. But because we got lost and we didn't know where we were, we landed up doing 15 kilometers, which is like 5 hours, feet hurting, muscles aching, but thoroughly enjoying the experience. And nature, there was mountains out there. So it was really beautiful. And it's a safe environment. So the worst that we were worried about was that we were backtracking on ourselves because we didn't have a sense of direction, and my Google Maps wasn't working. So that was the adventure. So
that sounds good.
Yeah, so my blog is called Nicole Stepping Out, and today Nicole Stepping Out got lost. But it's loads of fun, and I'm really happy to be here and speak with you today, Preston. I'm hoping to meet Ryan one day. But it's really great to, as we said earlier, it's great to speak to like-minded people who love traveling.
Yeah, like I said, that's exactly why we created this platform. And like I said, to make the world smaller, connect with people from all walks of life, people that you wouldn't just normally just run into down the street. So just like I said, this is just a wonderful time. Like you said, during these last years, it's been real difficult for people like us who like to travel. So you got to get creative and come up with different hobbies. So like this year, I started doing not marathons, but I started doing like little races, like 5Ks and 10Ks. So like I have a 10K next month that I'm prepping for. So yeah, that's some of the stuff that I got into this year. So, but yeah, so I want to get right into it. So my first question is, how did you get started? Like, where did Nicole Stepping Out come from?
Okay, so I've always loved to travel. Okay, my first trip was in the 1990s to the US.
Okay.
And it was it was a work trip, and it was 2 weeks into Savannah, Georgia. So I don't know if I would have gone there, but funny enough, I actually liked it. It reminded me a little bit of Cape Town in
Okay.
South Africa. You had the cobblestone streets and so on. And I think as a child, I always wanted to travel, always. And in 2007, I was offered a job in Dubai.
Okay.
And not knowing much about Dubai, they flew me out. They paid for the trip, and I went and got the job. And basically, I worked there for 13 years and got to travel to, I don't know, I think it's definitely more than 30 countries. I've lost count. But I made sure I traveled to at least one country a year. But usually it was more, because I would make it like, so I travel, close to other countries and fit it in. And that's how I really got started into it. But I was always fascinated. I was always fascinated by travel. So the Nicole Stepping Out specifically, I met someone who owns a TV show in the US, in the Bronx. And well, we became friends, and he insisted I kept asking me to host his TV show, like a restaurant review. And I didn't want to do it because I used to be very camera shy, but I did it. And I actually was very comfortable, and I made the other person feel comfortable. And it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And from there, I opened up my social media accounts, and I started seeing that people kind of like the way I'm, putting myself out there. And now I live it. It's my life. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Fun.
good. That's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, I wish like sometimes I think about getting a job across seas, whatever. My wife don't want to go, but
Yeah.
she's very close to her family here, and I'd be like, let them people fly to us. But so yeah, that's one of the things about being married. You always got to give that give and take or whatever. But maybe one day, like I said, because I wanted to actually retire overseas. I wanted to live in Spain. She don't. So
Oh,
so right now we're working on
we
a
need to
compromise.
speak to her. We need to speak to her. It's
I'm trying to. I'm like, look, because America is so expensive. Like, they do these little comps where they'll say, if you retire, say 65, and you plan on living for 10 or 15 years after you retire, you need like $3, $4, $5 million, to survive. Yeah. So I'm like, that's ridiculous. I shouldn't have to work my whole life. And then when I retire, say, oh, you need $5 million to live for 15 years. It's like, wow. Like that is, I can't even fathom that, but I can go overseas to certain countries where, the cost of living is not as much. So, like I said, we'll see, we'll play by ear. We're still fairly young. So South Africa. I heard good things about South Africa. I heard some good things about South. I really want to go. I just haven't been. I went to Africa for the first time 2 or 3 years ago. My wife and I, we went to Egypt.
And, where did you go? Cairo?
Yeah, we went to Cairo. We went to Luxor, Alexandria. We went to Sharm el Sheikh.
I've only been to Egypt, to Cairo and Alexandria. I missed. I couldn't get to Luxor because that was the time I was there. It was actually Christmas Day. Like I had booked a hotel and so on, but there was no transport that day, so I missed that opportunity for Luxor. But Cairo was an experience. It was not what I expected. I'll be honest with you. That's when I went. I don't know about you. I found I found the locals to be a little bit overbearing.
Yeah.
Just they wanted to sell me so much stuff, and they followed me, um, and I didn't like the side of the pyramids. It was not nice to. It was not clean. But I don't know if that's changed by now. But seeing the pyramids was a life dream.
Hmm.
Did you go to Saqqara?
Yeah, I went to Saqqara. We went to Memphis.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Like I said, we was there for like almost 2 weeks, and we
Yes,
had a blast. This is for
amazing.
our anniversary, so
It's a
um,
beautiful. I would say to anyone, go to Egypt at least once in your life. I loved Alexandria. I must say it was very Greek kind of a feel. Like
yeah.
I felt like so different to Cairo.
Hmm.
Um, but I would love to go back, to be honest. I would love to go back because that was so long ago. I've lost the pictures. So
Oh yeah, you got to go back then.
very sad. Yeah. And
Got to
it's
go
in,
back.
yes, yes, yes. I mean, there's so many places on my bucket list, so that's the
Oh,
problem.
that's what I tell my wife. I say, yo, I really. So what I did for my bucket list, I literally, I sat down one day, looked at a map, and I went
Yeah.
from left to right, and literally, I was just like, okay, I want to go to this country. Okay, let me see the cities. I literally write down exactly where I
That's
want to go,
good. Yeah, you should.
and
You
I don't
should.
have like a year or a date in mind, but I do have a checklist. Saying, okay, I checked that block off, check that block off. So I'm working my way through my list, and like I said, it's not in order. It's just about what I'm feeling. So um, like last year, I wanted to knock off all my South American countries, but obviously, couldn't do that. But I was able to go to Brazil last year
Oh,
before the pandemic really hit hard. I went to Brazil back in February last year, and then
you're so lucky. I actually was supposed to be in Costa Rica,
oh
right? It was gonna be like Costa Rica, Chile, or Peru, and I wanted to work my way around. I did a course to teach English as a foreign language, and that was my plan, and it still is. It still is, but it's on hold because of this awful virus.
yeah,
And I'm just trying to control my, because I'm so like, people get addicted to certain things like alcohol and things. So travel is my drug, and I can't I can't control myself. So it's very hard. I'm having major withdrawal symptoms, and that's why I'm traveling local right now.
hmm
But my plan was to go to Costa Rica or so on, and to teach English to the kids, or whatever, to just like get myself around and keep myself going, because like that's what I want to do, to be able to see the country,
okay,
and also to learn immerse myself in the culture. I don't want to be going to a place and just in out in out. I don't like that. I don't want to do the 2 week trips anymore. I want to go for months.
okay.
So I've given up the corporate life.
Hey,
Okay,
I salute you.
I've given it up. So I was earning money, okay, but I was on these holidays and I would get calls from work, and I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. I was a senior manager for insurance, and I can't anymore because I wasn't happy, and it had nothing to do with anything, but I wasn't doing what I loved, you know.
Hey,
So I'm really happy right now because I'm building my base, and I'm getting into things, and I'm working on, so I've been doing some work with some like in the Cape, and I'm not sure how much but the Cape is our a part of the country that is most of the wine country.
Okay.
So I've done some work in Franschhoek, and so went and did some reviews on some guest houses there and visited some of the wine farms. And that was really amazing for me, because that place, if you look up Franschhoek, it's like being in a painting. It's so beautiful. These mountains, it's a valley. Absolutely amazing. Like, you're surrounded by the Franschhoek Mountains around you, and for photo opportunities and so on, that's a very good place. Cape Town is beautiful. And we in South Africa, so I've just decided, because I don't know if you know, but like, for the you is one of the countries that's banned South Africa at the moment. So unfortunately, because someone developed the mutation in South Africa, we are now branded and we are blocked by 127 countries in the world. And that's out of fear. I do understand it, because they want to contain things, but if you look at our numbers, we lower. We like 20th on the list. So other countries have much higher infection rate than what we do, but because whoever got this infection in South Africa, we have now been branded as the mutation. So we've been blocked. So unfortunately, I can't travel at the moment internationally. There's very few countries, but also for myself, to be safe at the moment, I'm just giving myself a little, I'm working on my my platform. I'm building my foundation, reaching out to people and forming lots of relationships, and also like trying to expose my country, just let people see how beautiful things are here, and it's not scary like what people think it is. And when time comes, I'll be off to South America, hopefully. My my Span- my Spanish is improving in the process, so I'm learning Spanish as well.
Okay.
I'm learning. Yeah, I've just started French as well. Yeah, so I'm gonna be a polyglot by the time. I'm also planning on doing Portuguese. So yeah, you can do it because it's actually very easy. It's very similar, so it's quite easy for me. And I think if you travel, this is one of my travel tips, my number one travel tip. Please learn something of the local language when you travel. It's just respectful. It's just, don't go into someone else's country and you can't even greet them. So I've done a series, like I've done two lots of series on my platform. One is Travel Tip Tuesday. And the other one is, so if you go to Nicole Stepping Out on Instagram, you'll see my tips there. And that was one of them. And I also like doing a Fun Fact Friday. So, yeah.
Look at you, fancy. Okay. I'm on your page right now, and I do see it says Fun Travel Fact Friday.
Yeah, so I do the Fun Fact Fridays, and if you look on the, I've seen that my audience loves it. And if you look at my facts that I put out there, or my travel tips, a lot of the travel tips are very basic. So it's not to insult anyone, but sometimes when you're traveling, you don't think basic. So you won't think to carry a pen and a notepad on the plane. It's basic, right?
Yeah, I never do.
Yeah, so let me tell you, you're going to be the one scrambling for that, and you're going to be left behind when everybody's running for that customs officer. And you need when you're landing in an international country, you already know the immigration slip's going to come. So why don't you fill it in on the plane with your own pen? And I always say, have a little notepad, because you never know, like, just to put a little note for yourself, and your phone may be malfunctioning or whatever. Go old school, just have a little notepad and put little notes of places you want to see. And that's part of my series on the Travel Tip Tuesdays. So I think that people kind of like it because they started saying I'm putting stuff on there that's different, and that they don't actually know. So it's
Yeah,
fun. I'm
like
trying to inspire people, basically,
yeah, that's pretty cool. Like I said, I never really, and you're exactly right. Every time I travel somewhere and they be like customs forms, I'd be like, you got a pen? I never
And
think about bringing a pen with me.
COVID. It's COVID now, right? So
Yeah,
for safety reasons, I'm not lending my pen to anyone, and I don't. I carry my own pen, and I think that's something that you have to have when you travel. Carry spares also.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it is basic, but it's important.
Yeah, and it's like you said, during this whole process, I just took my first flight 2 weeks ago to Missouri. I went to St. Louis, and it was just so weird just being back at an airport and just
Wow.
that whole environment. Because like I haven't traveled out the country since Brazil, but like me and my wife, we're supposed to be going to Mexico in June
Wow.
for her birthday.
Going to Tulum.
Yes, going to Tulum.
I'm jealous. I want to go
And,
to Tulum.
and
It's
you can watch
awesome.
all the pictures and videos and everything else what I'm about to be doing.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a vlog the whole thing. So
It's blowing up right now. It's a
I
beautiful place.
know. I didn't
Yes.
even hear of Tulum until one of my good friends from I was in the army, but one of my good friends from the army, he said something about it like 2 or 3 years ago when it wasn't, what it is now. And I was
Yeah,
like,
now
Tulum.
maybe it may become a bit touristy, I think, because
Yeah, oh yeah,
everybody's
it's super
going
touristy.
out.
Not everybody goes,
Yeah.
which is fine because I still want to experience it. And I'm gonna experience it the way that my wife and I like to travel, because this
Yeah.
will be our first time actually doing a resort. Because I don't like resorts. I like to actually go places
Yeah.
and actually immerse, as long as I can for a week, 2 weeks, whatever I'm there for, and actually see locals. I don't want to go to a country to be like, oh, I'm just gonna sit on the beach. Well, it don't really do nothing for
I'm
me.
the same. You want to learn more about the place, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we went to Mexico a couple of years ago, but we went to Mexico. Everybody was like, "Oh, you went to Mexico?" I was like, "Yeah." They was like, "Oh, did you go to Cabo? Did you go to Cancun?" I was like, "No, man, I went to Mexico
Those
City."
are the normal places. Those are not all the. I mean, what I would love to see is the ruins, the Mayan ruins, and so
Yes.
on, stuff like that. I've seen some natural caves. I've got an Instagram friend who's Mexican who lives she's moved over to Texas, and she has shown me some beautiful natural caves. Like it's natural, it's completely natural, where you actually go underground and then you go into this pool and it's blue, clear water. Beautiful, beautiful. And I think that was Tulum. I
Yeah,
think
they got some
so.
of that stuff in Tulum, and I'm going. Like my wife is a
Wow.
little bit more reserved when it comes to certain things, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to convince her to be like,
Oh,
"Hey,
it's going to be great. I think it's going to be awesome.
oh yeah, I plan on having." Like I said, this is for her birthday, and she's just lucky her birthday's in the summer, so she's blessed with that. And
Oh,
my birthday's in the fall, and I'd be like, "Well, everybody got to go to work. Everybody, kids are in school, whatever, whatever." So it's okay, but
that's a good time to travel.
yeah, it
Because
is.
not like play the normal places are not as full and so on, so it's a really good time. I like traveling at different times of the year, because I think that you get different, like you experience the best of a certain place. Like if if you go, for example, if you go in the summer, it's going to be really full and so on. When you go in the fall, you can see like a different, you see the trees, the turning brown, and it's beautiful as
Beautiful.
well. um so I think it's also a very good time to travel in the
It
fall.
is. It is. I don't travel too much on my birthday.
No.
I don't know when the last time I traveled for my birthday. Oh, I did. Okay, yeah, I went. I think about 3 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago, I went to Peru. I went to Lima, and
Wow.
yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, I forgot
That's
that was my
awesome.
birthday. Yeah,
No,
Peru was
I
good.
haven't done South America. South America, I would love to also go to Iceland. And I
Oh, I love
know
Iceland.
Iceland's very, very expensive. I know. Um, but firstly, South America, because I haven't, as a continent, I haven't touched it yet.
So
So I would
I'm
love to.
5 continents in. I mean, obviously North America, but I've been North America, obviously South America, Europe, Asia, and Africa. I'm just missing Australia and Antarctica, which is on my bucket list. I plan on going to Antarctica
Yeah.
within the next couple of years. But the trip is kind of pricey. It's like at least $5,000, at least $5,000
Wow.
American dollars. So, um, but I think it's a well
Yeah.
worth trip because
Those,
I've
because
never
those
met
places,
anybody that's been to Antarctica. So,
yeah, and especially since, like I would love to, one of the things I really want to do in my life is walk on a glacier.
yeah,
Because I think those are things that one day we may not have all of that.
hmm
So I would really love to do something like that. That would be great. And yeah, so I think I haven't counted how many continents, like you just know it. So let me think. North America, Australia, Asia. um I live in Africa. Can I count it?
I count North America.
Yeah. What else is there?
Europe.
Um, yeah, and I've been to Europe. Yeah, so that's 5 continents as
Yeah.
well.
See,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, you doing it? Yeah, you making your way through life. So,
Yay.
um, like I said, it's just like because it's gonna lead me into my next question. I just think that's nice. Like you've been to 5 continents. A lot of people be like, "Oh, I just went to, one or maybe two or whatever." But I mean, five is a big deal. I'm working on Australia, but I want to go to Australia for New Year's. So, and I know it's gonna be super pricey. And I don't normally travel during the winter like that because I just, I don't want to bring coats and all this crazy weather gear and stuff like that. Just too much. But I will make it there one day. I just don't know when. I'm not sure if my wife wants to
Definitely.
go to Australia, but so normally how we do it, because I do everything. I do solo travel. I do travel with friends. I do travel with
Okay.
my family.
Okay.
I just like to travel. Um,
Okay.
Now I'm the only one in the household that really, really loves traveling. My wife, she likes traveling. I wouldn't use the word love. I'll use the word like. And then she got certain places in the world that she's like, oh, you can't go without me. And I'd be like, oh, that's fine. So some places I'd be like, oh, I really want to go, but I can't until we go together. So like
Right.
Greece, like I haven't been to Greece, even though I had multiple opportunities to go to Greece, but that's a
Yeah.
place that she really wants to go. So I
Yeah.
told her that I won't go without her. So, um,
Oh,
same thing with like Egypt. She really want to go to Egypt. So, I was like, okay, well, we're gonna make that happen because that's something that you want to go as
right.
well. But
Yeah.
places like Peru and Colombia or Brazil, she don't really care. So she was like, oh, you can go wherever you want. I'm like, okay. So as far as South America goes, I've been to, like I said, Peru, Brazil, and Colombia. And I have a
Nice.
couple of more countries I have to hit. I really want to go to Ecuador and I want to
Yeah.
go to Argentina and Chile. So I was
Yeah.
supposed to do all three of those last year. That's why I'm
Wow.
mad. I'm so angry, but but it's okay though. I mean, right
It
now I'm
was a
doing a
good
lot of domestic
time.
travel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so like my next question is, well, I was going to say, are you a full time traveler? But essentially, I guess that's really kind of what you do, right?
Um, I am, but unfortunately, I'm not traveling as much,
Yeah.
at this point in time. So, I do like at the moment, I'm lying low,
Mm-hmm.
but and that's really obviously for obvious reasons. I'm like, I've seen there's some mutation in South America at the moment. So I've armed myself. So I've done what is it, 9 months of Spanish, and I'm at the moment on my intermediates, and I told you I've started studying French and so on. Um, and so I'm doing that for a reason. I'm not just doing that because I'm doing it because I really want to go there. I want to be able to teach them English as a second language. But also I want to be able to understand people. So that is my plan, and I really was planning on going in June, but I've just seen about this mutation, and
Mm-hmm.
my family, or like that they're not, they would prefer that I just sit for a little while, which I'm okay to do at this point in time because I'm building up my platform. I am traveling local, so quite a bit. So I don't know how much you know about South Africa, but we don't have states, we have provinces.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so at the moment I'm in the center. I'm in what you call Gauteng. It's Johannesburg,
Okay.
and so I'm gonna go. I've come from Durban, which is East Coast,
Okay.
and that's the KwaZulu Natal, the names. And so I was there March, and I'm back here now, but I'm gonna go back again,
Okay.
and I may also go to the Cape.
Okay.
So I am actually traveling a lot locally, and I'm glad for that because I actually haven't done that much on my platform. So which is weird because it's my own country, but I was always focused on
Not weird. It's not
other
weird at
places
all.
in the
It's
world.
like people ask me all the time. They be like, "How many countries you been to?" I've been like almost 40 countries, and they be like, "Have you been to LA?" No. They be like, "Have you been over?" No. I'll be like,
No.
and they say, "Well, how do you travel so much and you don't go on your own back?" So with everything going on, like I said, I haven't left the country yet, and I just been focusing on domestic travel. So now I'm starting to hit places. Like I said, I just went to St. Louis, but I mean, I was born in St. Louis, so but I went to St. Louis, and I did that for like almost a week, and just recorded, where everything's going on, all the points of interest, and then I just went to New York. So I'm breaking New York into 6 trips where I'm gonna visit each borough, and that's all I'm gonna do. So I just went to Manhattan for like
Yeah.
5 days, and all I did was Manhattan things. Like I didn't go outside of Manhattan. So obviously Manhattan is like Harlem and things of that nature. And so I just did all that stuff. So I plan on going to like Brooklyn for 5 days, Bronx
The
for five
food,
days,
the
everything.
food,
So
food in New York is amazing.
yeah,
Um,
I know.
I've done I've done a few restaurant reviews out in New York. And there's a place in the Bronx, and as long as I've been going to New York since 2013.
Okay.
There's a place, uh, it's a, gosh, you would probably drive past it, but it sells for me the best pizza in the world. It's a huge slice of pizza that's $2 or something crazy. It's ridiculous. That piece of pizza is the size of a whole, like for me, it's so huge. And the owner doesn't even want to put up his prices. Fresh, delicious. It's absolutely wonderful. Like, so I mean, as far as the Bronx goes, I could actually give you like a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
I'm
places.
definitely gonna reach out to you and be like, I'm going to the Bronx. I
So,
need to
and
go.
I could put you on to some people that could
Oh
like
yeah,
actually, yeah, that
wonderful.
could help you out with that. New York is, for me, it's been like, I can go there for weeks, a month, whatever, and I never get to finish everything that I want to do. I just posted the other day about the Roosevelt Island tramway,
Oh okay.
which I just look, I saw it somewhere online, and I kept saying, I want to do that. And it's so amazing. It goes from Manhattan to Roosevelt Island, and you can spend
Hmm.
the day there, which is
Yeah.
brilliant. It's like a 4-minute trip. I don't know how many. It's cheap. It's like what, $4 or something. It's pretty
Okay.
cheap. And then yeah, so you can hang out in on the island, and there's a little lighthouse there, and
Dang.
there's so much and so much going on. The High Line, did you see did you go to the High Line?
Yeah, I did.
Amazing, amazing,
Everything. I
amazing.
had such a wonderful time, and I
It's
had
unfortunate
an
the vessel
itinerary.
is closed now, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Did you go up the vessel?
I went up.
Oh, I thought it was closed because someone apparently committed suicide. 3 people committed
Oh
suicide.
yeah. Well, everything's pretty much starting to
Open up again?
No, I mean they're limiting like numbers as far as like because I wanted to do the Ellis Allen tour.
Yeah.
Where all the immigrants came in. So they allow
Yeah.
you to go to Ellis Allen, but they also have a separate tour for $75 that you can actually go into like the hospitals where all the sick people were at and things of that nature. But they're only taking 6 at a time, and they're booked up for like over a month. And I'm like, you only taking
Wow.
6 people? So that's the one thing I would say as far as maybe New York or maybe other places that you really got to see, like what's
I
like.
still haven't done a Broadway show. Can you believe that? I've
You
been
have it?
so many. No. And I actually found a nice site that where you can get the cheaper tickets for those Broadway shows. Yeah. And I haven't done it because I always think I'm gonna come back, I'll do it next time. And like, look, the whole world is shut down now.
That is, oh my gosh, that's what I used to always say. I said, like, I kept putting stuff off and being like, oh, I'll just do that next year. I'll do that next month.
No, you gotta,
Now,
if you
I'm,
want to do it, you gotta do it.
I'm living for today because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna promise, and
And look at where we at right now. What can we do? We
yeah.
can't.
I was talking about my wife. My wife was like, she's just looking at me like, oh, I'm looking up flights. I'm looking up places I want to go. She's just like, well, you can't go, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know. But, I just look at, I'll Google anything.
You know what? I do too, because I think that it's like a fire. It's throwing coal on your fire, It
Mm-hmm.
it feeds that passion, So it's good to keep that. What can we do right now? Another thing I do is I do read a lot of travel books. Or I like to read the background of places, the history of places. I don't want to just go and be like this tourist and I'm looking at a building and I don't know how long it's been there. So
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of reading on stuff like that. And in fact, sometimes I just read. I just
Okay.
read and I read about places I would like to go to, places I've been. And I've learned so much through that, because places that have been around thousands of years, because it gives you a different perspective. You look at like, wow, this building's been there 2,000 years, or
Yeah.
whereas if you just went there and walked past it, what do you know? You
Yeah.
know, so it's this is why I do want to explore Europe as well a little bit more, because it was more of an advanced culture, like, you know,
Yeah.
hundreds and thousands of years ago. It was like Rome, for example. Wow, Rome is, for me, is iconic. I felt like, every centimeter of Rome and Italy it's amazing to walk, like, and you think, oh my gosh, it was gladiators here, oh my gosh, these, you know and these structures stand today. Isn't it brilliant? It's like, that's, for me, is the magic of traveling, is looking at things and seeing, how did they get there? Why did they build it? What was the point of it all? And understanding all of it. I love churches, by the way.
Oh, I love cathedrals. I love basilicas.
I am obsessed, and people have told me, what is wrong with you? Why are you now? Why is because, one, they are absolutely beautiful, especially in Europe. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like St. Peter's Basilica is one place, but how many more? And if you look and you think, these paintings on the ceiling, and someone did that, and look, it's still there, and the colors are still beautiful, and so on. So I know, like, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with
Oh yeah.
churches. I can't
I
stop.
always, I always go to the cathedrals, and like I said, when my wife and I, we went to the 16th chapel, and you just amazed when you look at the ceiling, and you're like, wow, like how did somebody do that? Like, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I mean, I took the tour of the museum, the Vatican museums, and so on. Because what happened to me? I think I landed in Rome that day, and I just didn't get there on time for my skip the line. So they said, okay, you can go, but you got to buy an entry to the Vatican museums, and I'm happy I did because it was beautiful.
Yes.
It was like, oh wow, like looking at stuff like that. And I got to see the Pope,
You got to see the
which was,
Pope.
man, I did. I got to see him, which was so exciting because I went there on a Tuesday afternoon and I saw the Swiss guards handing out some purple tickets. And I said, well, what is this about? And the Wednesdays in Rome, the Pope says mass. Like, well, this was pre-COVID, not now, but pre-COVID. And I had a plan to go somewhere else the next day. And I was like, I'm going. I went, I got a seat. I got a seat. People didn't get a seat, but I got a seat. And he came past in his golf buggy and he waved like right past me. I have it on video. It was awesome.
Oh, that
It
is
was
awesome. Yeah, like when we was there, he wasn't there when we was there.
Yeah, it was actually quite a cool thing to see that he's actually a very down to earth person, and he's you know, bodyguards and stuff, but telling him keep going, and he got out and he shook hands with like a lot of people. Yeah,
Okay.
yes, it was quite nice to see.
That is cool. Like I said, I love Italy. Italy was one of my favorite countries.
You like the food?
Oh, I love the food.
You hated the food?
The food was delicious.
I'm saying it's the best food in the world. And I mean, coffee, I tried to find a bad cup of coffee. I swear. I tried. I said, you know what? I just walked into a place, they had the styrofoam cups, and I was like, I'm 100% certain this is my challenge. I'm going to find a bad cup of coffee. And they gave me this little cup of coffee, and like, I'm sure this is bad. It was delicious. It was delicious. I could not find, and you know what? It's like I still think of Italian coffee, like proper Italian coffee, and I haven't found coffee that's as good as that anywhere else in the world.
Oh, I'm
for
sure
me.
not, yeah. I mean, like I said, Italy is special. Italy, I can't wait to go back. There's a couple more cities I want to go to.
Me too.
So I don't like my wife and I. We went to, like I say, we went to Rome. We went to Venice. We went to Milan.
Go to Florence?
Yeah, we went to Florence. Went to Pisa. So yeah, like you said, we had a good time. We actually drove. So we actually just drove like the countryside, went to each city and stuff like that. Spent a couple of days in there on all those cities. So yeah, it was a good time. But that's when I lived in Germany for 3 years. So I just drove around a lot, put a lot of miles.
What in Germany did you live in?
I lived in Ansbach, which is about 20 kilometers from Nuremberg, which is maybe 2 hours from Munich or München.
Oh no, I've just been to Munich, Frankfurt, Stuttgart, and Cologne and Düsseldorf.
Okay, yeah, I've been to all those places. Yeah,
I love
the
Christmas markets, and
that's the one thing I miss. I mean, I miss a lot of things, but definitely
you don't feel Christmas until you've gone to Christmas market.
Yeah, I be looking at Americans. I be like, y'all think y'all love Christmas. I was like,
no, it's nothing until you go to Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, I miss the Christmas market. I can't wait to go back. So whenever I do go back to Germany, I definitely want to go during that season because I want to see, the Christmas markets again and, get little trinkets and stuff like that. Yeah. But so like my next question is, what type of traveler are you? Are you like budget, backpacker, luxury,
I'm budgets. I'm a budget. I like budgets. Like I don't see the points of being a luxury. I'm not judging anyone who wants to do all of that, but I'm there to see the place. And I just feel a lot of people in the world, I'm actually giving a lot of my tips out as how to be a budget traveler as well. So for me, I don't even spend that much money, because I really spend as little as I can on accommodation, as long as it's neat, clean, I like a place that's close to, if I'm, for example, in Europe or most places that have a good transport system, I
Yeah.
really prefer to be close to the main station that's closest to the airport, because I just feel you can go anywhere on the train system, and I don't want to be rushing to get to the, take a train or bus to the train and then go again to the airport. So I like the vibe in certain countries that closer to the train station. I just like that. I like going and having a meal there, hanging out. There's so much to do. I'm definitely a budget traveler. I I'm not one for hostels. um
People
I
think I'm
don't
crazy. I'm like, I'm not doing no hostel.
I don't because I just feel it's for a younger crowd, and for I'm a person who does like my own private bathroom, and I'm just funny that way.
That is the biggest. That's like the number one thing. I'm like,
I
can
can't share a bathroom with
hey,
anyone.
I can do a lot
You
of things, but sharing bathrooms
know,
with 40 people, that ain't one of them.
I can't, and I just think I'm not there to party. I'm there to explore. So I just get the cheapest. Like, I really don't care as long as it's clean. I check the Google reviews. um I'm I'm on booking.com. I usually book through them. It's like I'm one of the, like, I even get discounts and everything now because I've been with them for years, and I just follow their reviews, and I look properly. um I did bomb out in Rome. I landed up opposite the opposite the train station in a really ghetto looking place with um, a lot of graffiti and some weird looking people. And the door was like I had to push it open and close it. Looked like it didn't really lock, and it was a little scary, but nothing happened to me. Nothing,
Okay, that's good. That's
nothing.
good.
Like on my solo travels, touch wood, nothing ever happened. I've been safe and good. Um, but yeah, I kind of, I do kind of like to, to keep it budget. So, um, I just, and it's a personal choice. I respect others who want to go and just have a fancy bedroom and so on, but I know myself. I'll be walking 25 kilometers a day. So I'll start like 6, 7 in the morning, and I can go on till walking till 11 at night when I'm traveling. I just go and I sleep and I wake up and I go, I don't spend time in the room. So what is the point for me to be sitting in the room? I like street food. I like the local food. I want to experience the culture. You won't catch me sitting in a fancy restaurant unless I've hooked up a restaurant review where they're paying me to do the review, and they're providing the food with someone I know, and I'm helping them out with that. But usually not. I keep it as low as possible. I book my tickets ahead. Um, so if I'm gonna, I know some people won't buy skip the line, but if I'm going to attraction, that I'm also like budget in regards to time. I don't want to waste my time. I don't care to be standing in any queue for 3 hours or more. I will buy the skip the line, and I don't want to stand in the queue. I want to walk in. That's who I am, and I feel it's budget in the way it's saving me time. So um what else? Yeah, so I also buy my train tickets ahead of the time, which is it really cuts the price down a lot. You would know that. Um so yeah, generally I don't spend a lot when I'm there. Like souvenirs, I may just buy like a t-shirt or something small that's not going to take up a lot of space, said that I went to that particular place, and it's something local, supporting the local business and so on. And that's it. Yeah, I mean, I really don't. I don't spend a lot of money on the travel itself. I book my flights. The trick when to book flights.
Yeah.
So it does work, and So I'll be booking maybe a Tuesday, Wednesday, never on a weekend, ever.
Ever.
And I don't plan my trips like I don't say I'm going next month, because that also, so I do plan ahead. And that's it. Yeah. I really, I'm definitely not a luxury traveler. No.
I'm the same way. I think I'm more like I'm budget, and sometimes I could do a little bit of luxury. When I say luxury, it's like the low end of the luxury. I don't do like $500 night hotels. Like I would never do that. But say like for example, when I go to Mexico, like since it's my wife's birthday, I splurged a little bit on that one.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's different.
Yeah, so certain stuff I'll be like, okay, I want to live in I want to be in a nice resort. Like, so the resort we're staying at is a 5-star resort. And, but this is a very special birthday. So so I definitely wanted to approach it the right way. But if it was just me, I'd be like, all right, well, I can go stay in this, 3-star or whatever the case may be. I mean, I won't go too far low. I like to stay in that 3 or 4-star range. That's kind of where I'm at. If it's 3 or 4 stars,
I mean, it depends where you go. I think safety is always takes precedence. So if you're going to be staying in a place where you have to pay a little bit more to get a safer accommodation, then I would go for that. I'm trying to think of an occasion where I did splurge. So I will tell you, even I went to the Maldives, right? I went to the Maldives.
I want to go so bad.
Oh, it's cheap. Listen, you stay on the main island, and you take day trips to the resorts.
Oh,
that's another part. Yeah, you spend the day there, and then you get a boat out there, and you spend the day, and you go back, because there's nothing to do in Maldives. All you can do is relax. Okay, so I stayed on the main island in it was a guest house. It wasn't a hotel or anything, and it was nice because I ate the local food, and it's nothing fancy and so on. But you can get around it. You can.
Yeah, because I need that, because I had a friend that went. And he stayed at like one of those water bungalows, and he paid a lot of money. I was like,
I spent, I think I was there quite a few days as well, because it was a budget trip. But it was a budget trip that wasn't a budget trip. So I just slept in the other place, and then I would take my day trip and go and lie on the sunbed, on the lounge chair on the beach in the Maldives, and sip my cocktail and everything. And then at 6 o'clock, they have a cutoff, right? So that at 6 o'clock, you go back to the island. And then you could do also 1 or 2 days in one of those resorts, and then stay in the other place. I'm not sure. That was a long time ago. That's probably about 7-8 years ago. Okay. I'm not sure how it is now. But you can, just like always think of ways around things, so you can do it. Yeah, it's expensive.
So like up until like last year or whatever, I used to always plan a year out for all my trips. So I would say, so for example, let's say there was nothing going on, okay, for 2022, I'd say I want to do 5 countries or 6 countries. I'm gonna go this month, this month, this month, this month. Let me get the budget. Okay, it's $1,000 for each trip. Okay, let me start putting money away. And I always buy my stuff a year out for all my trips. And then when, say, 2022 comes, I'm doing my trips, but I'm also planning for 2023. Like, it's very rare that I would just say, next month I'm gonna go do this. Probably not. It's too pricey, whatever. Now, things got kind of messed up because I didn't know how the world will open up. So I don't really have too much planned right now, because I don't know, because like a lot of countries banned Americans. Like, you can't come here, and so like Europe is pretty much shut down for Americans. There's only a couple of countries that will actually allow an American to come in. So I'm kind of just, like I said, right now I'm just doing domestic. And like I said,
I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's the time, because I've also decided, that's another thing, because I just feel that now as travelers, we have to think of others, so we also don't want them to feel like we're introducing anything to their place, and then we should also feel safe. Like the worst thing is to be land up in another country and there's a new mutation and so on. So I just think it is time to give the whole staycation thing, the local thing, and exploring your own backyard a go. It's not like I found amazing things.
Yeah.
I found amazing things. Like I'm finding like I'm fascinated by wall murals, for example. I'm fascinated by that. Like I love that. So I've seen, I drive around the city and I see interesting wall mural and I'm taking pictures. I'm doing a lot of photography as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I've taken it up as another hobby. And, so all these things, like, I think we just have to be flexible in our thoughts, especially if you are a traveler and you're really hurting. It hurts me. It's that I can't travel.
Yeah.
You want to be somewhere else. You've seen the other parts of the world and can't go right now. But I think it's just not the time right now. And it's like, it's just, I think we just have to accept it, and not fight.
I mean, I don't, I said, like, my wife and I, we've been really, safe, and we made it this far. I don't put myself in harm's way. But I did decide, I was like, my wife actually allowed me to start traveling. That's why I went to St. Louis and New York or whatever in the last couple of weeks, because she was like, so like I got the vaccine shots, I got both of them, and she has both of them. So she was just like, oh, well, since you're fully vaccinated, you can kind of, travel a little bit, just test the waters, go out there, still be safe, wear your mask and things of that nature. So I still do that, even though I am fully vaccinated, just to be safe or whatever. But
I think it's important because that even though you're vaccinated, you can still get the virus.
Exactly.
And you can still transmit it. So I think that's what people think, the vaccination is the solution. But the rules still apply. The social distancing, the fact is the virus is there.
Yep.
And it's something we're dealing with right now. That's not the cure. The vaccination is prevention. So you can still get it, but even though your symptoms will be milder, but you can transmit it. So I mean, it's a personal decision. I know others will just go out and travel and so on. I'm just like, I'm chilling for now.
Oh, nothing wrong with that. Hey.
And trust me, I have so much material to work on. Oh my goodness. I have so many videos to edit. I don't know. I'm not even getting enough time in my day to do my work. No, it's a lot. Like I have to edit videos for the work I did last year. I have to, it's because there's been just one thing after the other. Things keep coming up, and it's a lot of work.
Well, that's good though, that you're staying busy and and you're focused. So that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like I am arming myself for my next trip, like I told you. So I'm doing the languages. I've also done 2 courses in teaching English as a foreign, as a second language, and so on. What else? Yeah, I'm mostly like trying to improve my language skills.
Okay.
So I want to be able that if I go anywhere that I can actually speak the language, and this has given me the time. And my platform's growing quite exponentially, which is quite nice. And I think that's directly related because I'm sitting and I'm actually putting everything into it as opposed to being out traveling, So, yeah. So
that's one of the things my wife, I've been talking to her about, because I'm in, corporate America or whatever. And I told her that, because I actually started my own travel blog business where I was like, and I started it last February, and then, COVID hit. So I haven't really did too much with it, but I told her that now that I'm starting to travel, things are starting to open up a little bit. And I told her, I was like, I think I'm going to probably quit my job and do this full time. And because, like I said, it's such a passion for me. And like how you were saying earlier, you know, I go to work, I'd be like, I just go through the motions. I'd be like, man, I really don't want to be here. Or I don't like the fact that I can't go somewhere when I want to, or I got to put leave in and I don't have enough leave dates.
Yeah, you're always going to be like, you know, someone else is always going to have this power of you. Whereas if you like being a digital nomad of sorts, it's amazing. You work hard. You work really, like it's a lot of work and demands are great, but the return it's for you. It's not for anyone else. So I worked a long time and I was really good at my job. But it was always, it's going to be for someone else. It's not for yourself. So I'm really happy. I mean, possibly the money would be a lot more if I went back. But sitting behind a desk 8 to 10 hours a day, no, not who I am. Yeah.
But like I said, it is what it is. But I think by end of this year, I will know whether or not I'm going to stay working or just completely focus on, you know, my business. And then, but I'm leaning towards quitting. And my wife I've already discussed it with my wife, and she's kind of on board. So yeah, that should make things a little easier.
Yeah. I hope it works out for you.
Yeah, I'm hoping. So you mentioned photography. That was like pretty much my next question was, what type of equipment do you use to capture all these?
I saw that question. Yes. Okay, when you're traveling internationally, it does limit you like with the weight, you know, how much you can carry and so on. Okay, so what I use is I've got a Canon EOS 250D. That's my main camera. Then I've got a backup little Canon and a camcorder as well. 2 phones, 2 iPhones, 2 tripods, one with the ring light.
Oh, okay.
A little gimbal just for stability. And it makes it easier as a solo traveler to have remotes for the phones. It makes it so much easier because when I don't have it, I'm running up and down with the timer and it's ridiculous. So what else? Yeah, and I do carry my laptop with me. Okay. And it helps a lot to have portable mobile chargers.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've got 1, but I think it's important to have 2 as a backup.
I got 3.
Yeah, it does, because when you on a long day, you know that can run out as well. My ring light functions off of a USB port, so I just plugged my ring light into that. So it's great. It helps. Okay. Obviously, I have microphone. I've invested in which is on its way to me whenever it decides to come. The dual microphones.
Oh, I need to get that. I don't have that.
Yeah. So the clip-on. So I'm really excited about that. And what else? Yeah, it's a lot of equipment to carry around with me. It's a lot.
I mean, especially when you say you up and at them at 6 in the morning, don't come back till 11 o'clock at night. That is a lot of equipment.
It's a lot of stuff to cart around with me. So what I do is, if I'm, for example, and I know I'm going to feature someplace, or, you know, I basically take a little, you know, the carry-on bag, and I just put all my stuff in there. Okay. And I use my carry-on, and it does fill up that. Because it is a lot of equipment. It is a lot. I was thinking, what was the other thing I wanted to invest in? I mean, we always want to invest in more, right? Yeah. I mean, I would like to get, because at the moment I've got a portrait lens and I've also got the standard 50mm lens. I would like to get the bigger one, which gives a wide angle for landscapes. You know, the longer, yeah, I really want to get that. But I'm gonna see. I'm gonna wait until my work picks up because it's a little slow at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna maybe just work with what I have, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of equipment.
It's a lot of equipment. But like I said, like I didn't realize that until, I started this journey that, when I leave my house, I mean, I have my phones, I got my GoPros, I got my camera, I got multiple lenses, I got the battery packs, and I'm sitting there like, man, I could be anywhere. I'm like, oh, getting low. Let me get the charger out. Let me, so
It's a lot.
people don't realize how much, behind the scenes and prep work it really does take. So
Yeah, and that's the thing is that people think I'm just like doing this and it's just like, oh, it's just fun. And the after work as well, the putting videos together and editing and that actually takes a lot of time as well, sitting on the computer and just work. And
yeah.
but yeah, so the equipment, I think it's important if you want to be if you want to be a blogger, for example, you gotta be prepared to invest in good reliable equipment because you're gonna get your return on your investment. You
Oh yeah,
are.
without a doubt.
However, like this guy right here is good enough. With all the cracks, you see all the cracks, this is good enough. So I've seen people recording whole interviews with that, so
Really?
it's not, yeah, I mean, and oh yeah, and the other one is my selfie stick. Yeah.
Toughest day.
So
Okay. Man. That's
so
important too, yeah.
yeah, so it's a lot of stuff, but I have done interviews just with a selfie stick and a thing because it's like if you're in a place, okay, and you never know who you're gonna run into. So I've interviewed do you know Debbie Mazar?
I heard the name before.
Goodfellas. She's got she acted in Goodfellas, a few other, she's very famous. She's married to, they've got this Italian food show at the moment. I was at the Washington, what is it? The Washington Park? What Washington Park? There was a protest out there in New York
Okay.
years ago, and she was just there.
Really?
She was just standing there. Yes, and I interviewed her just like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like maybe what I should do is actually post that again so people can actually see because like she's super famous.
Yeah.
And so that is the thing, I've run into famous basketball players who
Really?
have, I'm not going to mention any name, but they basically like said, no, we don't want anything to do with you and stuff. Yeah, get away from me and so on. But what I'm saying is that you gotta just expect the unexpected. So I just like, if I know that I'm going to a place where there's a possibility, and usually these days I'm just carrying stuff with me. I just carry today I carried my camera. We got to be a bit careful here in South Africa and so on, depending where I go. But more for the landscapes and the scenery and so on, because it's quite beautiful. So sometimes I just got to work with my phone. There's nothing I can do because the camera is it's really expensive. I can't afford to have it stolen or anything,
Yeah.
So I usually am carrying either my phone or my selfie stick or whatever to just, yeah, I've got some lenses, some weird lenses that give a different effect and all these. That's just like fun stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, but
Okay.
that's my equipment.
That's
Yeah.
all right. Like I said, I'm still trying to get some more lenses. I want to get into drones. Maybe later on this year or next year. They're a little pricey. But I do like the effect that has, like when I see people
From the
vlogging.
aerial view.
Yeah, and I kind
Yes.
of want to get into that next year. They said that they're like, a couple $1,000. I'm like, well, I'm not investing in, that heavily into it yet. But down the road, I think I will get one. But so what are some of the pitfalls you came across on like any of your travels? Any pitfalls or anything that you were just like, man, that didn't work out at all?
I have had, of course I would have, but I'm just trying to think of something that's see, I wouldn't say like I've had incidences like, for example, I landed in which country? I can't remember which one it was. Was it Switzerland or Germany? I'm not sure which one. But the simple thing, like just going there and buying a ticket to get to the city from the airport in the morning, where everybody is running to get there, you know. So that was initially a bit daunting for me. I think it's important. That's why I'm trying to arm myself with language to know to so I think anytime there's some hurdle, you can always get over it. um Certain countries, um don't, like Paris, for example. I was lost in Paris, and they not really, can I say it? Like, certain places don't appreciate tourists. Like you say, again, arming yourself with language can change everything. So language barriers is it's a very like big thing, being in a place where like Prague and so on, that's like, and I stayed on the outskirts of Prague. I didn't stay in the city center. So they don't want to speak English in some places. But I think it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I made it through. What's some of the other things that I had problems with? Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay, my first trip to Europe. Okay. My first trip to Europe, obviously being like a blogger and stuff, as a female, you want to have, not wear the same clothes and so on. So I packed a really big bag.
Okay.
So
really big bag. Okay.
Those traveling to Europe, there are cobblestone streets. So don't pack heavy luggage. Yes, so that was something, because it was quite an extensive trip. So I really struggled. It was the summer, so it was quite warm. I struggled pulling the the suitcase, and I had the suitcase plus the little the carry-on plus my backpack. And quite frankly, I didn't even use all the stuff that I had. So that was ridiculous. I went to Venice with quite a big bag as well. And the same trip was the same trip. And carrying it on and off the train with the other one. So no, don't do that.
Light.
Pack light. And I've done like my first travel tip Tuesday was pack light, because I didn't do that. And that was really, it was a huge lesson for me. It was huge. You gotta pack smart.
Yes.
Pack smart and think that, you know what, whatever I don't have, I can buy. It's not that serious, So the trick is, how do you pack light in winter? So if you're going to place like Germany in winter is the problem. So you just gotta pack smart, I think. So you basically, I bought some insulated vests and so on from Colombia, and I just your undergarments, like it should be insulated, so you keep a little bit warmer. You have a beanie and so on. And I just had like change of shirts, just change my shirts. And what do? You're gonna be like it's gonna be a few days where you're gonna travel, and so it's going to be difficult in winter. You can't be, you in any case going to have a heavy overcoat. So you don't need to have a lot of different clothes. And if you need something, you can buy it. It's okay, you know. Um, I think that was one of the biggest things. And I did learn from it. The next trip, I definitely took just a carry-on. I
Oh
didn't a
yeah.
carry-on in a backpack, and that was it. I didn't need anything else. Um, and I did face a pitfall in Cologne. I sprained my ankle.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I tripped on a little step and I sprained my ankle, and I had to get to the airport that day. I had no time to go to the doctor, so I had to take my suitcase, get from there to the airport, and no. So I took a train from Cologne to Düsseldorf. I was leaving from Düsseldorf. So my next advice is just always carry a little medical kit for yourself. You
That's
never
smart.
know what could happen. Like just a first aid kit with bandages, because when I got to Prague, even the hotel didn't have any medical
Mhm.
first aid kit. They didn't have a thing. So that was a bit of a painful experience. But yeah, other than that, I can't think of any major, no major issues besides that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because like I don't want those.
Yeah.
I haven't. For me, the only pitfalls that I've came across was just the language barrier. Just trying
Yeah.
to communicate, and I
Yeah.
only had that in South America, Central America type event because I don't speak Spanish well. I mean, I know a little bit of Spanish, enough to, get around or whatever, but I can't get in depth into a conversation. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things I do probably need to get a little better at.
Yeah.
Um, learn.
That's one of the reasons why, because I've already had problems in Paris, and I noticed that the locals didn't really appreciate, like, because I could say bonjour, but like, can you tell me how to take the
English.
train to XYZ? No, I can't. So I decided, like, you know what, let me just arm myself. Like, while I have the time, I have the time to do it right now. And that's why I think all of those things were a learning experience for me. So whatever happened to me, it gives me the opportunity to educate other people and also to be prepared on my next trips, you know? So yeah.
That's good
It
stuff.
wasn't anything that's a showstopper for me, you know. So it's not
Mhm.
something where I was like, oh, I'm never going to travel again because such and such. No, no. You know, these things is like, it's all about being prepared, isn't it?
Mhm.
Prepare yourself. So if you prepare yourself, then, you know, a lot of things can be avoided.
True.
So,
That is so true.
yeah,
That's why I
yeah,
try to prep and go on like that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's one. I'm glad you don't have any crazy stories like everything got taken, and I don't have anything. So yeah. So that's like I said, that's wonderful. Um,
Yeah.
so pretty much like my last question is, so it's gonna be a hard one. Well, for me, it's hard, but what is your favorite destination that you've been to so far?
Whew,
Yeah, that's what like.
hard one. Um, See, I would in general say I like Europe. I did love Italy. Okay, I loved Italy. I always dreamed of going there. You know, I just totally like, I would love to see what is the other place? The south of Italy. What is it? Positano and all these other coastal areas which are not as touristy. So I would love to go out to more of those. But if you're going to take which place hit the list for me as far as culture, architecture, history, food, you know, it hit most. So then I'm gonna say Italy is one of my favorite places, but I also really like the feeling I got in Germany. I was really like comfortable there. I felt very welcomed, and um, people were in good moods, you know, whereas, some other places, people are just like not interested in tourists and stuff. but in Germany, I just enjoy the atmosphere, and I've been in winter and in summer, so it happened in both times. It wasn't any different. So I don't want to put it down to a city or a place. I like the continent of Europe. I
Okay.
did like it, even though I would say I enjoyed every place I've been to, every place. Um, one anticlimax was the area by Cairo. I'm gonna be honest and say I just found it wasn't clean. I didn't like that there were animals that were mistreated, and like the harassment of tourists. But that I understand. Maybe they find their situation is not good. But sometimes you just want to enjoy a place and be left alone. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I really would say I love Europe. There's not a place in Europe I didn't really like.
Okay.
It's every country I went to in Europe I enjoyed, which
That's
was really
good.
cool.
I think my wife and I we really enjoy Europe, just the whole
Yeah.
lifestyle. But I know my favorite destination is Egypt. Like I didn't like
Yeah.
the people following me and asking, for money and buying stuff. I didn't like that part, but just the ideal of seeing the pyramids, going to the Valley
Wow.
of the Kings, and we did
Amazing.
a dinner cruise on the Nile River. So,
Wow.
so just doing stuff like that just blew me away. Like going inside the pyramid, seeing the Sphinx and going to Alexandria, going down to the catacombs, and
Yeah.
I don't think there's a place on this planet that could beat that particular moment.
Definitely, it's definitely like this is one of the wonders of the world, and it's just I do like visiting wonders of the world. I do like going to places that are listed as that, and I'm that's one of the reasons why I did like and seeing the Sphinx and the pyramids is like it's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
I don't think there's anything.
Phenomenal. Like it is. I do regret because I lived in Dubai for so long. So one of my like my lifetime regrets is that because I got there in 2007 and I always wanted to visit Syria. Syria was a beautiful place, and it's very sad that I didn't get to go. I missed also Jordan and Oman, which I always thought it's there, I'm gonna get there.
Mhm.
And COVID changed everything. I had to come back in a very big hurry. And I'm really sad about that because Oman was 45 minutes flight away from me.
Oh yeah, you should have did that.
And Jordan was, I think, a 2-hour flight. And I wanted to go to Petra. I wanted to
Oh
see
yeah, I want to go there so bad.
I wanted to go to Israel.
Yeah, I want to.
Do Jordan and Israel because they're next to each other. I would have loved to have just gone to the biblical places and
Mhm.
just seen, just to be there and see all of that. So those are stuff that I really would love to do someday because it's like, I was so close and I put it off and I put it off. So I think moving forward is that if I want to do something, I really have to do it.
Just do it.
You know?
I
Because if
definitely
you
want to
put
go
it
to.
off, especially if something's close to you, if it's not that far and you keep saying, I'm going to do it. It's like you leave it to the back of the list and you go, and that thing's like not that far. And then you could have gone and then everything
Not that
like,
far. It's cheaper. You know.
yeah.
So yeah,
And I'm really sorry I never went to Oman. It used to be very close, very cheap, and people just drive there, literally, and from Dubai, yeah. And I never got to go. And it's like, you know, I didn't need a visa. I could have just like, yeah, I don't think there's a visa required. You just like as a resident, you just go, like a day visa or whatever. Uh, Qatar, Qatar is not a place it's not on the top of my list. I'll be honest with you. I had a friend living there. It's not on, I've been through the airport. I had a friend who lived there a long time. It's not a place, doesn't bite me really at the moment. at the moment. It's mostly desert, not much going on. But yeah, I do regret not visiting those countries that are very close. I did get to see Lebanon. I did go there, but it was a work trip. It was a work trip. So I got to see little. I would love to go back. I went to Beirut. It was an interesting place because it was a weird vibe. It was a very party vibe, but you see the tankers, military tankers in the city. And so it was a very weird vibe. And when I was there, they had someone was bombed and something happened. So it was like going in there, you were searched and over searched, and it was just a kind of a tense vibe. Like if you in the, so it was interesting, but I'd like to go back probably, Yeah. So yeah.
Plenty of time when all this stuff settles.
So many places.
So many places. Hey, like I said, the world is just beautiful. It's like, a lot of beautiful places.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, like I said, just being on Instagram and actually focusing on travel and then starting to follow other travelers and seeing their pictures, seeing locations that I didn't know about. And I'm like, wow, like I didn't know about that. Okay, let me look into that. So this whole journey, this whole experience has been so wonderful to me and my wife and stuff like that, because she's starting to really get into travel a little bit more. So that's, because like I said, when we first started dating, she didn't really talk about traveling, at all. So yeah, now she's kind of like, oh, I want to go here, I want to go there. But oh, that's good. So I think, like I say, it's a blessing. So
it is.
So this part of the segue, I didn't mention this to you before. I was like, I wanted this to be spontaneous. Okay. So at the end of every show, we always do rapid fire questions. We got to pick one.
Okay.
And you didn't already kind of answer all of them, well, most of them earlier. Just now, we just have to actually say A or B or whatever the thing is. Okay. So, so what it is going to be is just 10 questions, and then you have to pick one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So the first question is luxury or budget?
Budget.
Okay. Train or plane?
I like trains.
Trains. Okay.
I like trains. Yes.
Hostel or hotel?
Oh, hotel. I can't do a hostel. Oh no, I could do a hostel. If there's a private room, I'll do a hostel.
Okay. That's funny. City or beach?
I can't choose both. Little bit of both.
Let you choose both. You want to do
both? Historical cities, not so much new ones. So like the where there's history, yes. But I love my beach too. So can I only choose one?
we're gonna put both for you. Both. Just for you though. Just for you.
Thank you.
All right. So the next one is desert or tropical?
Tropical. Yes.
Cold or hot destination?
I could do either. Why don't you give an option for both? Mostly warmer, yes, mostly warmer. But if it's Christmas in the Christmas markets in Germany, it's got to be cold, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's another point. So now you got.
Thank you.
Okay. The next one is off the beaten path or organized excursion?
Off the beaten path.
Okay. Yeah, I like those too.
Yes.
So next one is photo or video? Both.
I do both, mostly photos, but I gotta do both. Yeah, because mostly photos.
Photos?
Mostly photos. Mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to say both again, but
I know. Go ahead and give her both on that one. Solo or group travel?
definitely solo.
Solo. Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
And this is the one I know you already know the answer. Fast food or like dining in or street food stuff.
Street food. I like the street food.
Yeah, and I was also I know you answered that earlier. You was like, I want to, get local cuisine and stuff like that. So yeah, I understood that. You did very well, even though you got 2 votes. I was like, okay, so chose option C when there was no option, but that's fine.
Yeah, you should have A or B or both.
Okay. You're literally the only guest that chose like both. Like normally people be like, because we had a married couple on our show a couple weeks ago, and like most of their answers were pretty much similar, whatever, and they kind of different on a couple. But yeah, like I said, that's interesting because I think me and my wife would probably have similar answers as well. But you want to say both.
Well, the thing is, as far as, because I kind of feel that because photos, for example, the photo or the video, I really do both. I do both because I make videos, but I also use photos to make videos, like slideshows.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't always capture the essence of something. So, for example, I love waterfalls.
Yeah.
Love waterfalls. However, does the picture of a waterfall capture the essence of it flowing?
No.
Do you hear the sound of the water when it goes, or do you see that flow? No, you don't. So you see it in a video. So I personally love slow-mo videos. I like doing time lapses. I like to play around with it. So whereas, sometimes you can just take a beautiful photo of a sunset or of a place, or I don't always take pictures of myself. Sometimes I think I should not be in a photo. I should just take a picture of the building or whatever, and that's good enough. So it's, for me, I almost can't say, mostly this or mostly this, because I use both. Yeah.
Like both. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. Like I say, some of these, like sometimes questions, are hard to just choose, so.
Yeah.
Because I like photo and video myself. But if I really had to like choose one, I would probably go with photos. I'd probably go with photos, yeah. Because I'm just starting to learn how to take pictures. I just bought my first camera last year. So, and then like Ryan, I mean, who couldn't be here, but he's a photographer. So he's actually teaching me how to take pictures and, things of that nature. It's like, I remember one day we went to DC, watching the DC, and we spent like 5 or 6 hours out there just taking pictures and just showing, from different angles and changing the lighting, the ISO, the apertures, and.
Oh no, I need to speak to him because I want to improve my, like I said, I want to be able to capture like waterfalls. There's that effect where it looks like it's just like fluid flowing. It's just like milky flowing down. I don't know if you've seen that effect.
Oh, I've seen it.
Or a spider web with the dewdrops on it.
Oh yeah.
So the clarity.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to speak to him about that.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to make sure you get all his contact information and stuff like that. Because, like I said, once you've been on the show, you can come on the show as many times as you want. If you got anything that you want to promote, and that leads me to my next thing is I want to make sure you tell the viewers on how they can reach you, like any of of your social media platforms.
So I am Nicole Stepping Out. So it's Nicole Stepping Out on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. So if you type in Nicole Stepping Out, on Twitter, I'm Nicole Stepping 1.
Okay.
You just type Nicole Stepping Out, but I'm on Pinterest, Tumblr, Flickr, or most platforms. But my most commonly used ones are Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And it's most Nicole Stepping Out.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
if you
good.
type in Nicole Stepping Out, you'll find me. I'm also on Blogger. So I actually write a blog, and that's also under Nicole Stepping Out. So under my Blogger, I'm actually writing a proper blog. So I'm writing up about a place, or I'll do a restaurant review, or I'll write up about a place that I've actually been. So it's a bit more in depth. So if you enjoy reading up on travel, that would be a nice place to go.
Okay.
Well.
Yeah, like I said,
It's quite easy. Nicole Stepping Out.
That is easy. So all your stuff, yeah, it's nice. Like I said,
Yeah.
wonderful having you on the show today. And
It's been great, Preston. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
I would really love to also meet Ryan, and also to have you on my platform.
Oh yeah, I'm coming. Hey, just let me know anytime, and I'm ready.